many of you have been told in high school, go to class in college or you will fail, or raise your hand in class in college or you will fail? Perhaps we should probably look at what classroom attendance and classroom participation actually means. Let's look at the first idea. From faculty and staff here at Western Illinois University, classroom attendance was defined as a warm body in a seat. It's like reading a book. If you don't read the book but just see the movie version, there are so many details that you miss. So going to class is where you get all of the details. Receiving what the professor and classmates are expressing, since students learn from the entire class, not just the teacher. Let us look at a few different scenarios with different professors with different definitions of classroom participation.
Today I will be taking attendance via the polling software, and our first question, who has the best hair, Adele or Beyonce?
In this situation, the clicker, as it is often referred to, is tied to your name and the professor can see who's in class. This is especially used for larger classroom environments. For those of you watching us at home, what class do you have where a professor takes attendance in this way? Now let's look at what classroom attendance might look like for a different type of class.
Welcome to Physical Education 108, otherwise known as yoga. I noticed that Bend and Snap Ben is not in class. Let us honor his spirit anyway, and Downward Dog Debbie, please make sure you help him with the postures we learned today.
While some professors may not count classroom attendance as part of the grade, sometimes the professors may simply notice that a person is not present and ask that a classmate gives them notes. That may be uncomfortable for you depending on the situation. For our audience at home, a question for you is, how can you best learn if you miss a class session?
We will begin each class with taking attendance, which counts as 10% of your grade. As I say your name, please say here. Coffee Kathy.
Here.
Slacker Steve.
Here.
Flighty Fiona.
Here.
It's a very real possibility that the professor may count your attendance as part of your grade. Simply putting your body in a seat can make the difference between passing and failing. The professor may visually scan and take attendance, or may call roll call each day, depending on the teacher. So, a question to our viewers is, do you believe simply being in class is enough to count towards a grade? Now that we covered classroom attendance, let's take a look at classroom participation. If we think about classroom engagement as interacting with professors and peers in an appropriate way, let's look at some different perspectives on this.
Part of your participation points is to offer at least one answer to the class discussion each semester, since this is a large lecture. So far, Bowtie Bobby, Involved Izzy, and Porsche Percy have all contributed, and we have 4 classes left, so I expect a lot out of the rest of you.
Sometimes, professors might talk about engagement as classroom participation and could actually count towards the times each student talks, even if it doesn't have to be the right answer, but they want to see that you are actually thinking.
Hello, class. I am not looking for you to have the postures right, but I want to see you trying. And while we are in class, there should be no talking, as it disrupts the flow and may make others disengage in their own focus in learning our poses.
That was an example of where participation was not so much talking as it was experimenting with some of the concepts the professor was presenting. And also, being in the classroom with an appropriate state of mind was part of classroom engagement.
For classroom participation today, I want to see if you are engaging with your peers in the small group work. You each have a worksheet of problems for you to solve. I will rotate around the room to answer questions.
Possibly, your professor's assessment of your participation is purely through observation, and will assign the participation points based upon their memory of you while you were in class. So it's up to you. You have the power to decide your level of class participation and attendance. The choice is yours. We've talked about attendance and participation. Here's some other things to consider.